Hello everyone, welcome to the first edition of the weekly Dungeon Fog community stream. Um, this is a new format that I'm trying, and the idea behind that is just to have a weekly stream where I hang out with you and I chat with you. You believe that I am very quiet, so let me just quickly change that. So let me see, maybe I need to, how about now? I've ramped up the gain a little bit. What else can I do? Not much, I believe. A puppy in the back. Here, there's my dog. That's Finn, the dungeon dog. Sounds fine to you? Perfect. Amazing. So the idea behind that is to have a weekly stream in Dungeon Fog, about the things that are going on, and just to hang out with you, answer your questions, and fill you in a little bit of what we're currently doing, what we're planning to do, what the team's currently working on. Um, so that's basically the goal of today's stream. Um, yeah, all right. Um, I guess I'm Jake the human now. Well, I guess so. Not sure what that means. Oh yeah, right. Finn and Jake. Yeah, got you. Um, okay. If you have any questions, to make it easier for me to find them, type a big question in front of your question before you post it. I will try to catch them all. I will try to answer them all. Um, and with that said, let's start with a little review because we're just past the festive season. The new year has just begun, and it was quite exciting. So, in terms of what is happening for Dungeon Fog the company, apart from all the Deus stuff that's going on that I'm going to tackle next week. So, if you want to learn more about what's going on with Project Deus, join us on Tuesday next week. I'm not sure about the time yet. I will announce it the second I have confirmation, so it's either 3 p.m. UTC or at 7 p.m. UTC. We will see. So mapping it out, our monthly Deus stream is taking place next week. In terms of Dungeon Fog, the company itself, um, well, first of all, apparently you've all noticed that we have released version 5, a new editor version that allows to draw brushes in a different way, to draw shapes in a different way. And that is kind of laying the groundwork to all of the things that we're going to release this year. Um, Basically, we've spent the December doing mainly two things. Making sure that V5 finds its way to the live service, and coming along with that, also we had to take care that all your maps that are in version 3 are remained unaffected by the new V5 version. So we decided to build in a version switch because of the way that the brushes work. The brushes are now drawn differently, which means if you have an old map that is what we're calling a version 3 map, um, we're we wanted to make sure that our system does not update your map and convert it into a new version, and by doing this probably breaks the way that you've aligned your brushes. So that was the main thought process behind why do we have now a version 3 and a version 5. Over this year, we will add more and more features to version 5, and eventually we will come to the point where we say we don't need version 3 anymore, and we will notify you and let you know when it comes the point where we say, okay, version 3 is deprecated and we're getting rid of version 3. Um, but for now, it's 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 kind of a mix between version 3 old maps and version 5 new maps. Coming along with that, we also had a few well, hot fixes and bug fixes that we need to address where that we didn't catch in the first place, which also led up to the decision that we really, really want to have someone who is specifically working on the QA testing part. Because right now it's because we're a small company, or let's say we're a small company that is slowly growing, um, we realized that our developers are busy developing stuff. I'm trying to maintain and manage everything that's going on. So we all are testing, but it's happening aside from the stuff that's also going on. And now we are in a position where it feels like there should be a dedicated tester who's really working with the developers and checking everything before we put it to live. Um, and by this, we have now I have the honor to welcome Larsus into our community or into our DGNFOG team, because he is not only moderating our chat today and helping us with general support requests, but he is mainly putting an eye on QA testing and improving our test builds to the point where we then feel like now it's solid, now we can put it out. The next thing is then what also happened in December was that we had our celebration of the 2nd year anniversary of DGNFOG, because last year, technically in October, um, but we didn't manage it to have it finished in October. So we said, okay, we're gonna celebrate in December. Um, we we're celebrating our 2nd year anniversary, and we were creating a special video for you. I believe most of you have seen it. I'm really proud of it. We were working with Tony, who did the artworks and the animation. Tony is also the artist who is drawing all the DGNFOG assets, which I find really cool, because it meant that the scene, the short clip we were creating, is taking place in a DGNFOG dungeon and is made by the artist who's creating the artwork for all your DGNFOG dungeons. And then on top of that, he sat down and created an asset pack for you that reflects all the assets that were used in the short clip animation. It's Inception. It's absolutely insane. I'm so proud of all of them. We've also worked with Guy Sklenders from How to Be a Great GM. He helped me in story writing and scripting. He also helped me with the voice actors and the general, I think it's called final mix, so the sound adjustments to the clip. And because we were so on fire, we then decided, okay, that's not enough. We want to give more to you as a thank you for being such an awesome community. And we sat down, and Guy and I wrote a little adventure, the Bring It On adventure, that you can find on the DGNFOG website. It's for free, so you can just go on the DGNFOG website. It's also a drive-through RPG, and it's also on the Great GM website. So if you happen to be around the greatgm.com, or it's greatgamemaster.com, you can get the adventure there too. Right. So as our celebration package, we handed out the adventure, the short clip, the asset pack, and a special coupon code that was going on over the festive season. The coupon code is, I believe, prolonged now until March. I need to check that. But it's High DM Stretch, but it's eventually going to be replaced with other events or occasions that we're going to bring coupon codes. So don't worry if you missed that one. There will be another one coming up soon. Right. So that was December, and oh my God, December was over a lot faster than I expected. And on a personal note, we moved from Vienna. So me and my family, we moved from Vienna to the outskirts of Vienna into a nice little house here. And so I also had to, aside from juggling with all of the things happening in DGNFOG, I also had to carry boxes, a lot of them. But now I have a little studio here at home, which is quite nice, because it means that I can do streaming in the evening, whereas beforehand I wasn't able to do that because I had to stay in the office for streaming and then had to go home. So especially doing streams that fit the American time zones was kind of complicated. Now I have a little studio here, and this is really nice because that allows me to do streams in the evening and then still have some family time. All right, so suddenly we were in January, and we have our annual community asset pack where we are asking you. Oh my God, I completely forgot about the contests that we ran. Okay, I will come back to the contests later. Um, Thank you. Yeah, it's nice. That backdrop is, by the way, from the short clip, and I love it too. It's amazing. Um, so every year, we were the first year, the second year, and now for the third time, we were asking you for your personal vote on community assets, which means usually we come up with a theme, we think about something that we create. Um, but once a year, we go out and we ask you and we say, hey, what would you like? What is missing in Dungeon Fog? And then you just come in and throw ideas at us. And we're basically collecting all of them and we're trying to make all of them available. So our community asset pack has been released last week because festive season, holidays, Tony was out. He had to prep for another project, so we were a little bit delayed. But that's fine because now we have a really beautiful new community asset pack out there, which also started the process of reorganizing um, our prop tool, like the prop panel where you can pick all those props. This is something that is on our roadmap for this year, and I'm going to talk about roadmaps later in January. So we're not going, or in February, I would like to say, because we are currently finishing our roadmap for this year. And one of the things on the roadmap is that we want to reorganize the assets. It has become quite a big list and very hard to search for assets in there if you don't really know, if you haven't been following our monthly updates, if you haven't been playing around with our monthly prop packs. It's really hard to find an asset because if you're, for example, looking for a tree, you will find that there are probably by now 15 different categories where trees are in instead of one category where all trees are collected. So this is on our roadmap for this year, and with the community asset pack, we have started to organize things a bit more cleverly. And over this year, 2021, we will then eventually bring a new way of selecting, searching, organizing props so that you can easily find them. What else? Yes, we have been, again, we had a few more hotfixes for version 5. So as of now, we believe that version 5 is rather stable. You will most likely teach us that we have missed something. But I believe that in terms of all the minor bugs and minor things that we missed in our first hotfix in December, we have caught the majority of the things there. Also, again, Larsis is now joining us also in support, so he's also collecting your reports. If you have a bug, if you're reporting a problem with Dungeon Fog, with the battle map editor, Larsis is taking that, is testing that, is verifying that, is probably reaching out to you saying, can you please help me? I cannot reproduce your issue. But this will... So for version 5, I believe we're almost done with bug fixing here. What we're now doing is let me just quickly check my list here. Yes, we're working on improvements for the campaign manager. which mainly means the way that the players and the GM are interacting if they're playing through campaigns in Dungeon Fog. That starts with being able as a player to move your token, or being able as a GM to assign the viewport of a player to a specific token. Um, and and a lot of more things like wall detection, making sure that your token cannot cross over a wall, um, additional lighting features. What else do we have? Distance tracking. So there are a lot of things that we want to bring to make the campaign manager um, more smooth for running campaigns if you're really running them on Dungeon Fog. Which brings me to the next thing, because Dungeon Fog, I always say Dungeon Fog is not a VTT. We don't have dice rolling, we don't have character sheets, we don't have monster stat blocks. And for Dungeon Fog being a map making tool, we really want to be careful where we are going into the VTT waters and where we are remaining and focusing on being a really cool battle map or map editor. But we are finishing, and I really mean finishing. We're patching the latest bugs to releasing our Foundry VTT importer, which means that most likely next week you will be able to export a map from Dungeon Fog as a specific file format that you can then import in Foundry, that has the dynamic lighting walls auto set, that has the doors auto set, that even has the light sources auto set, so that you can play around with them. And once we have that, we can then start slowly adding more and more export features, like exporting tokens, defining windows as transparent wall elements. There's a lot of things. I said, let's start simple. Let's start with the basics, and then just upgrade with time and new features. Because at least for some of the things, we might need to talk to Foundry and see how can we integrate that. Because apparently those are two different softwares and they need to speak to each other. So those things are being tested already. I've seen Lars is already writing his first test reports on them, discovering a few bugs. And if everything goes as planned, I think that on Monday or Tuesday next week, we will be able to release the Foundry VTT exporter and importer to you. And then this has been going on for quite some time, but we are now coming into the area of being finished with it, at least to bring it into internal testing. This year, 2021, is going to be a year where we're also going to introduce our third-party marketplace. The idea behind that is that we are... Oh, there I have a question. I will come back to the marketplace in a second, and I will also come back to the contests in a second. Oh my god, Filthy Casualty asks, do you anticipate working with other VTTs like Fantasy Grounds? Yes. Yes, we will. Foundry has, to be quite honest, Foundry has the best integration at the moment, so it was the easiest thing to integrate. So we've started with that. Roll20, we have already played around with it. But Roll20 is a bit complicated. Then Arkenforge, I'm going to have a meeting with Arkenforge soon, I hope. And apparently Fantasy Grounds is also on the list. But it is, all those systems have different ways to integrate. So we really need to take the time and look into each and every one of those. Foundry has been on our list for so long, and I'm really happy that we have finally made it, and I'm going to release it next week. Yeah, and Forecaster, who is a beloved community moderator, is using Fantasy Grounds, so he will be a pain in the ass when it comes to when will Fantasy Grounds be as an export format available. I got you. Okay, marketplace. Coming back to the marketplace. The Dungeon Fog assets are created by Tony, so they are our assets. We've created them and we're handing them out. But there is a broad variety of artists out there who do amazing assets. Now we can't all bring them into Dungeon Fog as part of the Dungeon Fog subscription because of mainly IP and licensing issues. Um, but what we can do is we can offer a third-party marketplace where you can get assets from other artists, and you don't have to be a subscribed member to get them because they are for purchase. And even with a free account, you could go in there and purchase assets. So the idea behind that is on top of the content subscription that we're offering, where you're getting monthly new content packs, we're also giving out a marketplace where you can go and, for example, Chaora assets or 2 Minute Tabletop, um, probably David Hemingway. So you might know those artists out there, where you can get those assets. And the first implementation will be in the first quarter of this year. It might be mainly for internal testing and then be released as a small marketplace. We're working closely with Chaora there to learn more about that and how we can work with that. Where do we need to tweak? Where do we need to adjust? But basically, the 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 first implementation of the marketplace will most likely be a quarter 1 thing, and then we will slowly start to open the gates for more artists to bring their assets to our marketplace. Okay, last but not least, because I forgot about that, we had a few contests last year. Um, we had great map submissions. I will show more of them in our stream next week. Um, But we've also learned a few things, like you shouldn't run a weekly contest because that's just too much. If we're trying to do more contests this year, um, and we're trying to make more focused contests over a longer period. So probably a monthly contest or a bi-monthly contest that gives you more time to submit maps and thus have a little bit more impact on those contests, because it would be a shame if we're doing contests, and I can see how many lovely maps there are. We're over 4,000 maps in the public library now, and you're doing great maps, and it would be a shame if they kind of drown in an endless barrage of map contests that we're throwing at you. So that was one lesson learned last year, was don't try to do weekly map contests, but try to make more focused, more emphasized map contests on a less regular basis. um, yeah, so Kirk Hasty says he learns the most about the tool by watching someone talk out loud as they create maps. So keep an eye out. I have started my first map. How did I call it? Welcome to the Mapness stream last. What day is it? It's Tuesday. Last Thursday, um, and it was quite fun. I liked it. So I'm going to do this Thursday again, where I'm just sitting down and prepping maps for my next office game. And by this, you can always tap in, ask a question, say, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I can show it because I'm working on a map that I need. No, you well, Filthy Kasha. I'm sorry. I will just call you Filthy. Well, Filthy, you tricked me into mapping it out without Guy. Yeah, you now no you didn't. You see, the one thing that is really different, and I'm just as I'm doing it right now, is the good thing with Guy is he's a really trained moderator, interviewer. He's someone who has a really organized way of talking and asking questions, and I feel so lost. I like seeing someone that I can talk to. So especially for mapping it out, I want to have Guy as the moderator, and I want to continue that because I really like the way that he is spicing up and asking questions and is kind of acting as a representative from the community and the chat that is bringing those questions to me. Um, so yeah, but you see, I got the inspiration for the weekly community stream from World Anvil. They are doing that, and I find myself often popping in there and just watching and seeing how many questions there are and how they are interacting with the community. And I felt like now that I'm now that I have the opportunity to be at home and do such a thing on a weekly basis, and thank you. Um, and now that I'm also more like engaged or working on the daily basis is getting more and more demanding. I hardly find the time to really sit down and watch all the communication that's happening on Discord. I do my best to follow you on Discord and see what you're talking about and try to hop in wherever I can. But I somehow managed to make myself unnecessary because we have great moderators, and we have great stuff that is. Hi AK Writer, um, liebe Grüße aus Wien zurück. And we Grüße nach Wien. So there you go. Um, so it's really hard for me to keep track on all the things that are going on Discord, and I feel like I don't want to lose touch with you guys. So I said that's a really nice way, like well, Anvil is doing that, and I just want to keep that. So I'm trying this now. On top of trying to follow all of your conversations on Discord. I feel like I have the wrong approach to get less work on my shoulders. Well, speaking about questions, whenever you feel like you have a question, you want me to showcase something, you want me to answer something, don't be shy. Drop a question in there. Yes, DGNFOG is based in Vienna. So AK Writer just asked, wasn't DGNFOG a Viennese company? And the answer is yes. We are in Vienna, and we are in lockdown. So if you have any questions, just drop them in here. What else is coming up for this year? Well, I will not tackle all of that today in detail because we are still building the roadmap. What I can say is that there is, I believe, early February, that there is coming up a vote. We are at a point where we have many ideas that we want to bring to you, but we're not certain what you really need next. There are a few things that I personally have locked down where I said, no, this is coming definitely before everything else. But there are other things where I say, well, let's ask the community. Let's see, what do you want to have first? What should our team focus on as an update that we can bring to you this year? And just to name a few things, we have to, I already said that, we have to rework our asset gallery, the way that asset picking works, so that it's easier to sort assets and find them. I also really want to bring our GM nodes up to speed, because to be honest, since DGNFOG launched, we did back then we did a vote and we said, what do you want to see next? And the GM nodes didn't get any votes at all, or at least not enough to be high priority for us. And since then, we've been focusing on all the drawing tools, but we have shamefully neglected our GM nodes. So this is something that I have locked where I say, okay. Before we do anything else, we will definitely look at ways to improve the GM nodes. Bits and pieces of that have already found their way into the new campaign version that we're going to release in January. A text tool where you can write text onto your map. Apart from the room numbers and room descriptions, a proper tool where you can label things is going to find its way in there. And then there are other things that we will then put to a vote. I will not name them right now because some of them are still in internal discussion. Whether, how, what can we do with those things? But from our perspective, from my perspective, once the campaign update is out, and again, this is being finished, I would say, hopefully next week. There might be an error margin of a week there. So by the end of January, that should be out. And in February, we'll then have our roadmap finished with regards to the fact that part of the roadmap is dependent on your vote. Larsus, what are you saying? You're actually a little low, and I have you maxed compared to what I would normally expect. If you turn yourself up a little bit, that would be appreciated. I can try to move my mic a little closer. No, I cannot. It's breaking. No, it's not. I can. Which direction? I feel this direction. Wait. Pow, 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 pow. Let me see what else can I do. I can do this, and I can do this. So we will see if that helps. Yes, louder. Okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, still, I'm setting up the stream. So I had one in the last stream, and I'm finding my way around those things. It's really hard to test that without hearing yourself. Sorry if some of your ears just broke. I hope I didn't deafen any one of you. Right. Yeah, I feel like giving you an overview of what's going on here. I've tackled most of it. I can tell you we're all really, really fed up with this terrible pandemic thing. I mean, we weren't stupid enough to believe that once the year turns 2021, everything is over. But having now over half a year where we haven't seen each other really in the office and everything is happening on Zoom is slowly taking a toll on all of us. And AK Writer means in mood I'm already as high as possible for a Viennese these days. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm currently ranting about. Because Vienna has gone into a hard lockdown, so we kind of invented a new version of a new lockdown. And it's taking a toll on each and every one of us. We really hope that the vaccines are going to find their way around soon so that we can all find back into the office. Also, I must say, it's really a pain in the ass to pay for an office and then not use it at all. So I really hate that. I'm looking, and I know that from the whole team, everyone's writing to me over the past couple of days saying, "Oh my God, when can we go back to the office?" Yeah, man, I can't wait for that. In terms of other updates, let me think. Well, Tony and I are creating we're still in the process of it, but we're creating our roadmap for assets this year. And we will see how that goes. So we have some ideas, but we need to check if that can be done, if they align to our general roadmaps. But yeah, that's where we are. That's basically where we are right now. 11 Shoes says, I'm happy not going to office. Good equipment here and not so good at the office, so I'm happy. Well, you know, the funny thing is, now that I have built my beautiful little studio, I believe I can try to show it to you. Let me see if that works. Testing new things. Get rid of the chat. Sorry, just for a bit, restream chat. I think we can get rid of that. So I have an action cam, and I've dropped the picture. Nope, I've dropped it again. Okay. And let's go. Where is it? There it is. All right. So this is the office. Basically, this is my setup now, where I'm sitting, and I feel like this is really cool. I love it a lot. Also, we have my beautiful little dungeon dog sleeping at the back. But yep, let's sit you back here. Pew. There you go. Oh no, that's not working. That's not working. Yeah, let's go back to that one. So sitting here is really cool, but still, I miss the team spirit, the atmosphere that when you're sitting with, I know so Bodhi and Thomas, they have a thing where they constantly tease each other. They've just created. I think I can show to you. They just created a funny little thing where whenever you do something in the backend, Bodhi's head is popping up as a little Christmas Bodhi, and the VR office would be really cool. So Thomas and Bodhi, they have this little office knick-knack going on where they're teasing each other, which is amazing because you constantly hear them laughing and joking around, and I miss those times where I sit in the conference room because I have to prep something, and Jonas comes in and he's making a tea or making his lunch, and we just sit together and chat. When Andy comes around and we have a founders meeting where everyone is sitting together and you have the flipboard and you're drawing ideas, and all of that energy is missing because all we do at the moment is we basically just sit there and do Zoom meetings. Yeah. So yeah, we're a small company. We have usually regularly in the office we have Thomas, Herbert, Bodhi, and Jonas with me, and then we have Andy coming in because Andy is a night owl, so he's working mostly in night shifts because he prefers that. So he's coming in usually once or twice a week to have founders meetings and just discuss things. And that is the beauty of a small team because it feels more like a second family where you just come to them and you joke around and you play stupid tricks on each other. We When we got the new office chairs, we took all of the office chairs and stapled them around Herbert's working place, so he had to dig through all the boxes to get to his chair. So all of those little things are really funny, and I miss them. I so much miss them because it's nice to be at home, but I'm alone here and I can go out and I can go and have a dinner with my family and I play with my daughter and I walk the dog and we're trying to do something as a family together. but it's only for me, it's only one part of the family. The other part, my office, my dungeon family, is missing at the moment. Um, yeah, DM stretch. That's basically what I'm doing here. I have a house to myself, and I'm sitting in a little cubicle that I built here for me. Um, yes, and he would be like, well, he, I think he kicked through some of the boxes. Going out, well, I've never been big in going out or having drinks with friends. I regularly did that probably once a month or once every 2 months. Um, but I miss the office games. So we're now playing through Zoom and the Dungeon Fog campaign manager. Um, but for me personally, it feels not as alive as sitting on the same table. Um, where Martin, who's one of my players, he has that thing where at some point he throws gummy bears at Thomas, who has to catch them with the mouth, not with the mouse, catch it with the mouth. Um, Sharing a beer while we're playing, ordering pizza and sitting together and saying, "Oh, I have a little bit of pizza salami. Who wants that? Oh, I have pizza tonno. Who wants that?" And we're sharing that. That is so nice, and I'm missing that a lot. Um, Bowling and billiards. Yeah, yeah. I've been. By the way, I think we've planned a a team bowling event that never took place. So that would be really cool. AK Writer, you're asking the main page, you can see a fast motion montage of a church cathedral being mapped. Is there a video around how exactly that was done? Um, I think you mean the cathedral itself, like the long version of me drawing that cathedral. I feel like I should have the raw footage and I could make it available. The cathedral itself is available on Dungeon Fog. You can just grab the cathedral and use it in your games. Um, I've been looking for that outside structure piece, um, but I can't find those. Um, you mean the in the campaign there is In the campaign, there is a map with more of the cathedral area. I haven't created any of that. I created the cemetery, and I've created the passage, and I've created the cathedral itself, but the choir and all the area around there, I did not create. I just tried to focus on the main events that you most likely will play and encounter on. Um, Oh, you believe you're talking about the one that Bodhi made. That one should be on so the Dungeon Fog landing page itself. Um, that map should be available too in the public library. Um, and you should be able, let me just quickly check that. Let me go to, let's do this together, screen share. Let's go to public maps. Let's see if we can find it on the first page without searching it. Man, there are some amazing maps there. Um, Search for Bodhi. Let's see. Well, that's not working. Was it just Bodhi? Come, load it. Ah, can't find it. I know that he has at least promised to make it public. It's called. There you go. Bodhi is there. The Oops. No, go back there. Cathedral. Hi, Bodhi. Come on. So this is that one. There it is. I give it a like. Um, the cathedral decorated by Bodhisaurus. There you can find it. This is the one you're looking for. And there you can clone the map and see how it was produced. Some of the World Anvil streamers do article reviews, showcases. Would anyone ever think about doing a similar thing for maps at all? Just a spontaneous idea. Well, so the thing is, I was thinking about doing public map reviews. Um, but it is, there's a slight touch of if I'm picking a random map, and I'm reviewing it, this might feel uncomfortable. This might be uncomfortable for the one who has created that map. So what we were thinking about was that for some of the map streams, my Thursday map streams, the Welcome to the Mapness streams, what I could do is I could make a call for submit maps that are reviewed, because then it is an intended thing where you say, oh, I would like to get a review from Till, or even a rework where I say, okay, I take a map that you submit and I will make it fit my style and my game. Exactly, DM Stretch. People can post up maps, and that is an intentional thing that they should do. I wouldn't want to go out and start randomly judge maps that I like live on stream. Um, so yeah, that would be a nice idea, and it is already on my list of things that I would like to experiment with this year. Yeah, great. Um, wow, I was really afraid that I could not fill the hour. Um, because it's a first time, and I was like, oh my God, can I do this? I'm not really sure. What can I talk about? What if no one asks questions? But you're an amazing crowd. Um, so it was really fun. I'm going to slowly call it a day, because let me be honest, from 8 o'clock in the morning until now, which is 9 p.m. in the evening, I have been in Zoom calls. My voice is leaving me already. Um, and if you have any last questions, if you have any requests, comments, if you want to share something with me, now's the time. Um, I have my drink. Um, but if nothing else is coming up, I would say thank you very much. It has been amazing that you've all joined for this experiment, and I feel encouraged to keep doing that. I might even start bringing in some guests from our team, and we have little chats with the team where we talk about stuff. Um, Thank you. I hope this means thank you. It very much reminds me of the Italian. Um, and Yeah, and we're going to keep this up. So next week it's not going to be a Dungeon for Community stream, but it's going to be the monthly mapping it out for Deus. And the week after, then we will continue with a weekly Dungeon Fog update. We might then be reviewing and looking at the VTT importer exporter. We might be looking at the new features, so might be showcasing a few things then. And I'm looking forward to have you and see you in the stream. And if you have suggestions, join our Discord. You can find the Discord link in the Dungeon Fog software and the Dungeon Fog website. There's a link to our Discord. Come chat with us there. And with that said, I say thank you very much. And to steal from Guy, happy map making. Bye.